Welcome to the Politics and Media programme. The long-running row over whether a new so-called mega-mosque can be built in the London Borough of Newham has reached a decisive stage. Last December, the local council's planning committee rejected the scheme to build what would be Europe's largest mosque. Now a new organisation, the Newham People's Alliance, has been created to counter what they describe as the institutional, social and religious cleansing of Newham. Protesters are targeting the local mayor, Robin Wales, who they claim has lost touch with the community. But Newham Council insists that the mosque developers are not complying with undertakings they gave to develop the site as a mixed-use project. With me to discuss the future of the planned mosque are Mufti Shah Sadruddin, who's chair of the Newham People's Alliance, and Asghar Bukhari from the Muslim Public Affairs Committee UK. Welcome to the programme, both of you. Just tell me, Mufti, where do you think this debate is, and why do you think it was that the council turned down the application?
I think it has taken 17 long years, and this is unjustified. And the second thing is that the Mosques people invested nearly £1.4 million in the instruction of the Sir Robin Wales instruction. And the thing is, which amazes me, why do you just reject now? Why not 10 years earlier? And the way it was done is that it is unjustified demands on a public property owned by these people. It's their land, it's their money. They are not asking a single penny from the government, and still the government or the representation of the government insists on things that which will not be likely given to if this was a Jewish synagogue. You have to understand that in Newham Borough, 100,000 Muslims live there, which is nearly 35% of the local residents. And the other thing is that they should not have rejected it on total thing. They could have amended other things. They could have demanded that we need to rectify few things. After 17 long years, I think these people have been unjustified. It is an isolation. We feel it's discrimination, and it is not, I think the mayor is behaving intolerant with the Muslims' attitude, and this is why we want the local Muslims to wake up, understand their rights, and demand from their leadership a equal share of their right to worship. After all, freedom of worship is the United Nations Charter's thing that no institution, no government, no individual can ban anybody from their rights of worship. This markaz, after all, is a masjid. And masjid means anybody and everybody, when he is a Muslim, they can pray there. So when they reject 100,000 people of Newham Borough not to practice their faith there. And we feel this is isolation, this is injustice, this is discrimination, and the markaz could have been hosting the 100,000 people in the borough to have their children's education, their youngs to have a rehab center, and they are planning to have a school, primary school, secondary school, Islamic center, all these, and for the ladies also. So these people will be affected. This is why we want to tell the mayor it cannot be one-way traffic. He needs to engage with us, and he needs to understand what we are facing with this masjid. It is not just the Tablighi people, it's not just their problem, it is also our problem, because we are the taxpayer of the Newham Borough, and our money goes into Mr. Robin Wales' pocket.
Okay, Asghar, I mean, I've read the impact statement on this, and I understand that you have some reservations about this project. But But they're very different from the kind of opposition which is being mounted by Robin Wales and the Newham Council. You must have some sympathy with the points that the Mufti's made there.
Not really. I think it's a chicken coming home to roost. The institution was apolitical, and the people who believe in that institution, the people behind that institution, are apolitical. In fact, they teach nothing about politics and actually refuse to. And now they are the victim of their own philosophy. Now there's a political campaign to stop their markers going ahead. And what can they do about it? They are apolitical. And now, only now, are they asking the very community who they refuse to teach political involvement to become political to help them out. It was their fault. They spent 17 years pacifying the community, refusing to educate them. And now, when that community is needed to be educated and politicized to help them get that markers, they can only draw on a community that doesn't know what to do because they're apolitical exactly the way they wanted them to be. So don't complain. The chickens are coming home to roost. You didn't teach them nothing. They know nothing. You have no political power. Live with it.
Do you think that part of what's happening with the council is that the entire borough really has been transformed in the 17-year period that you're describing? I mean, when this project began, it was a piece of ground that nobody was really interested in.
That's right.
Now it's at the heart of the whole Olympics thing. Do you think this is something that's in the council's calculations?
The council, this borough, is a borough which hosted one of the biggest events of this year, the Olympic. Then they've got this Newham football's pitch. Then one of the biggest shopping centre, Westfield, is in this borough. So if the other things are not a cause of destruction or heavy traffic or crowd, then why should this mosque become a crowd suddenly? I don't understand that. I don't justify there that this is too big for the Newham borough.
The Mufti spoke about 100,000 people, Muslims within Newham. Not a single one of them are being allowed to be elect the committee of this over £100 million project, the biggest mosque in the whole of Europe. Not a single one of the Muslim residents in that constituency can have their own committee. It will be decided for them by an unknown group. The second thing is, out of that 100 million, 50 million of them are women. Not a single woman will be allowed onto that committee. And so far as we know, there's not a single person, or at least we have no knowledge of the ethnic diversity. As far as I know, there's not a single black person on there. The hundreds of thousands of Somali Muslims and African Muslims that live in the borough, not a single one on the committee, as far as I'm aware. So here you cannot argue that this is representative of our community. They give no power to our community. They refuse the rights of women, of Muslim women within our community. And then they want our support after teaching everyone not to become political. And now they want us to defend their pet project, their palace, their grand mosque for their own egos. If it's about spending 165 million, as far as the figure that I've heard that they're getting from Saudi sheikhs from abroad, whatever the figure is, then spend it on good teachers, spend it on young kids staying out of prison, spend it on the education of those young people to go to the best universities in Britain, instead of your palace and your ego palace that excludes over half of the Muslims in their own area.
But isn't the difficulty with this argument that, I mean, the Mufti can reply to those points in a moment, but these aren't the reasons that the planning permission is being turned down. If the committee of the mosque were exactly as you say it is, Newham Council would still turn it down, and there would still be Islamophobes in Newham campaigning against this, even if it were perfect from your point of view.
Yeah, these are not the reasons on which Mr. Robin Wales rejected it, the things you have said, because in this charity organization, you can have trustees, wherever they come from. They look after it. It doesn't have to be the way you are saying. Still, there are so many hundreds and thousands of institutions which run within their core foundation, with their core ideology. Can you become the trustee of a Regent Park Mosque?
Why not? I can't. You're right. I can't. But
so
why not?
They have a constitution. They
For
have
their own gang, for their own clan, for their own men-only club.
These are not the reason, Mr. Robin Wells. The fact we are talking about here is about why was the rejection done and what would be the solution for the Muslim Ummah. So what we are saying is, it is their land, they paid for it, they raised the money, they are responsible. The Marcus did not approach me. It is out of my sympathy because I live in New Hamborough. As a Muslim, I feel these people has been unjustified. Justice has not been served to them because end of the day, whoever runs the show behind the curtains or in front of the curtains, I will be benefited because they do not say so-and-so people cannot come. 48 different countries representative goes there and prays namaz. Every Thursday, you will see one of the most multicultural people sitting there every Thursday.
Allowed on the committee.
Look, committee is a different thing altogether. It is a constitutional thing.
Is it the community's mosque or is it the committee's?
Islam Channel is for all the people. But can we say
Islam Channel is a company? This is not. This is the people's the house of God run by the people.
But this argument...
Well, if it's for them, if it's for them and their gang, let them sort it out with the council. If it's for the Muslims, then don't ask the Muslims for help.
They're not asking your help.
Well, don't worry. That's why they're not getting any.
They are not asking me to help. I am saying I'm a Muslim. I want to support them. They're not asking
shouldn't
for
help
me.
them.
They're not
because
asking
you're asking us, the Muslims, to help from a very people that are acting against Islam by being sexist, in my opinion, by not being accountable, by probably because
but we are going into a different argument.
No, we're not.
We are talking about the structure of the committee, but that structure is not the problem.
That place.
The structure of the committee is not the problem of rejection. I don't believe in that.
So would I shop in a company that didn't allow black people on the committee? It's not about, well, I still get the clothes from there. I could still buy anything I want. But the very ethos of it is sexist or racist. Would I back that? But here I am saying the house of God itself. I should back that because forget the fact that it's racist. Forget the fact that it's sexist.
This argument is not the reason why this mosque is being rejected.
The reason why it was rejected...
It is isolation.
The reason why it was rejected was because of Islamophobic pressure, political pressure, that they, after 17 years of groups begging them to teach their community to be political so they could counter that pressure, they refused to do. And now, because of the seeds that they have sown, they're apolitical, the refusal of teaching the community to be political, now the community has no power, and so they can't help them. So when it came to Iraq, they didn't teach politics. When it came to Palestine, they didn't teach politics. When it came to people being locked up in Guantanamo Bay, they didn't get political. But now for their own markers, they want people to get political. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Just to hang on,
these arguments are not the reason for rejection.
They are.
And also, that's not an accurate picture of the response of the Muslim community during the Iraq war.
No, but it is of the markers, on the people behind the markers.
Yes,
but that's not the reason of rejection. Rejection is a total ball game altogether. It is a fight between Mr. Robin Wells, which not me, a lot of our white brothers said he is Islamophobic. If this man is Islamophobic, look, if this...
I don't disagree with you.
If this Marcus...
What did the Marcus do about it?
Let me tell you, if this Marcus was in Tower Hamlet, we would have had the green signal 10 years ago. But because it's in... the man, Mr. Robin Wells, let me just tell you, if we can change this mayor, like Mr. Obama said, we need a change, and he got changed, he got rid of the Mr. Bush and his cronies, and he came. We want to change this mayor, and then we will give you the markers with or without the trustees.
Can't you see the problem?
Well, let's examine what the consequences would be here, though, because this is an important part of the argument. If the consequences were of the rejection of these plans, that people inside the mosque went away and said, OK, we failed here because of the reasons that Asghar says, and we should correct our behaviour in this and this way, then that might be justified. But isn't the more likely consequence of this going to be that every Islamophobe in Newham will feel encouraged by this, that everybody who hates the idea of Muslims being able to pray freely will be encouraged here. So isn't it the case, and I think that probably this is your case, that irrespective of what may or may not be the faults internally, that the consequence of this will not be just affected by the people who don't practice the construction of a committee in the way that you're suggesting. It will be felt by all Muslims across the board.
And I don't disagree with you. I agree that it was an Islamophobic reaction that cancelled the mosque. I completely understand. What I'm arguing...
Islamophobic is 80% responsible for the rejection of the mosque.
No.
20% is what you say. 20% of the matter of this. I don't just blame Mr. Robin Wells. I blame what you blame.
I would say...
people, they're lacking. They did not do the right thing at the right time. But you have to understand, these people had already spent £1.4 million just to get the green signal from Mr. Robin Wells. And still, he is not giving it. So what we have to understand, your debate, we can debate that for hours and hours. That's a different issue. And I agree with some of the things you say. But today what we have to make clear is that why is the rejection? I would say Islamophobic is in action. Discrimination is in action. Undermining the Muslim pressure is in action. And the Muslims, 100,000 Muslims, should wake up and say, we support the mosque because we will benefit from it. We don't care who is the trustee. We want to pray there. So we and our children needs to be educated there. So it is part of our problem. We will sort that out. What you are saying, we can do that. If we can sort out Robin Wells, we can sort out the trustees in the markaz. But first thing first, let us get the permission. We should not advocate that because of these lacking of the trustees, these people have failed. That is not the core understanding. That is not the reason that we should be debating here today.
I don't disagree.
The debate is, which everybody agrees, and I went to Regent Park Mosque. Mr. Ed Miliband, if he is listening, he should sort out Robin Wells. If he doesn't sort out Robin Wells, then his dream will be shattered. He wants to live in 10 Downing Street. After the next election, he wants to become the Prime Minister. But he has to understand, if this mosque is rejected, and if this man, Mr. Robin Wells, if he fails to do that, if he fails to justify with the Muslim cause, then 2.5 million Muslims will reject Labour Party in the next election. This is what I think.
So the Mufti's argument is really this: let's rank our opponents.
Yes.
And Robin Wells and the people who have Islamophobic objections to the mosque are enemy number one, and anything else we can sort out on...
Sort it out later on.
From your point of view, what's wrong with that argument?
I would argue that even if I were to accept that, even if I were to say, let's put sexism and unaccountability and all that aside, allow me to finish.
They will have a sector for the ladies.
Mufti.
Ladies will be there.
We'll argue about that in a bit.
They recruit ladies.
No, Mufti, they are the most sexist organisation in the world. But forget that for the moment. We can prove that by going to their mosques. But let me just put that aside. If I accept your argument that it is Islamophobic enemies that is our number one priority, then I would still say that the hypocrisy of that institution, that when it was the Islamophobic... Hold on. No, it's not. The Islamophobic... This Islamophobia has been rising in this country, for many years.
Much as I'm enjoying somebody who can actually talk Asghar down, because I haven't seen it before, but just let him finish, then we'll come back.
Yeah, okay.
Look, they have been rising in this country for many years. People have been attacked in the streets. We're not finding jobs anymore. That is 22% of this country, according to a recent poll in the Telegraph, said that only 22% do not see us as a threat. That's a shocking, dangerous statistic. And that mosque taught everyone, and not just that mosque, institutions that believe in their ideology, that they should perfect themselves first, make themselves more spiritual, pray their salah. And when everyone was praying their salah, then Allah would somehow come down and help them. But now, when it comes to this Islamophobic demonization, this terrible evil that is inflicting them directly, then they want people to get political. And I argue that what you're saying is right. What the Mufti is saying is right. We should have got political. But it was their ideology. It was their belief system that taught the Muslims not to get to political. So don't blame us. Blame yourselves. Change the way you teach your community. And because you haven't done that, now you are reaping the fruits of that. And don't come around complaining and pointing fingers that it's the politician's fault. It's not the politician's fault. A wolf does what a wolf does. Why did you teach the people to act like sheep? That is their fault. They are now paying the price for their own stupidity and their own evil version of Islam that taught people to perfect themselves. And now I say, you believe in that belief? Perfect yourself. Let God solve your problem. Don't tell everyone to become political, because when it came to Palestine, you weren't political when we begged you. When it came to Iraq, you weren't political when we begged you. When it came to every injustice against the Muslims, you are not political. You told everyone to perfect themselves and just pray their salah and wear their trousers above their ankles. And now when their mosque gets banned, then they tell people to become political? They should be ashamed of themselves.
But they're not asking you to be political. I think.
So what do they want? Why are you talking about? Why are you talking about that MP or that mayor?
Yeah,
that's politics.
One at a time,
yeah, but they're not asking.
So you're asking. Yeah. But not them.
No.
So I'll listen to them. I'll listen to the people who want it. I'll perfect myself.
I'm now beginning to
That is a wrong accusation on the Marcus. They are not asking anybody to become political. They are not.
That proves my point. That proves my point. They're not.
They are not asking anybody to come and demonstrate. They want to negotiate within the law, and they want to do business as usual.
Without politics?
Without politics.
So then why ask the mayor for anything?
Who?
That's politics, right?
No,
why ask the mayor?
Hang on. But the Mufti, if I understand your point rightly, is that a politicised Muslim community is in any case intervening in this independently of what the leadership
Of course, yes. We are not part of the Marcus.
Don't you get it? The Marcus is not helping their own case. They're saying don't be political. Well, then don't complain.
And we're familiar.
They're ashamed of themselves.
So
then why are we here? If they're happy with it, why are we complaining? They're happy. The committee is happy.
As an individual.
So you're going against the committee. The committee are happy with it. The committee want Allah to solve their problem. They want to perfect yourself, is what they would say.
Let the man make his point.
Yeah. What you see today, what you are trying to say is not the core reason today we should be sitting here. What we are trying to solve today is what is wrong. I've told you, look, 80% of the problem is with the council and 20%, like you have mentioned. So we put this in the percentage perception, and then we work it out. How do you solve that? Those 20% lacking is less than 80%.
But Mufti, so how can you say that it's 2080? Because
I live there, and I am trying to sort it out.
Mufti,
you give me 1 year's time. Look, you give me 1 year's time, and if we can get rid of Robin Wells, I will come back and after 1 year here, and I will give you the certificate that the mosque will go ahead. The reason...
Will you give me the certificate that mosque will teach politics after that? Or will they pacify a whole new community?
Look,
will you give me that certificate?
This is not the argument
that is.
Here. No.
The reason why you're here, Mufti, fighting a one-man show is because that mosque told everyone not to fight.
Gentlemen, the screen is about to go black, so you'll have to stop there for a moment. But do come back to us for the second part of the Politics and Media programme.